right, everyone. So for our first meeting, I'm going to discuss what is sentence and how to construct a sentence. So the topic of our first presentation today is about sentence structure. And after explaining what is a sentence, what is the structure of a sentence, we are going to discuss also what are the common problems some people have when they are writing sentence. Okay. All right, everyone, let's start first about sentence. Yeah. What is a sentence? What do you think a sentence is? So in general, everyone, you probably have also now the definition of a sentence. A sentence is a group of words that is complete in meaning. So it is a group of words and the meaning is complete, or it has a complete thought. Sorry, this is supposed to be thought, yeah? Let me write it correctly. Okay, complete thought. So when you see this one, for example, a beautiful lady, my question is it a sentence? This is not a sentence yet, everyone. Why? Yeah, it is correct that this has some words together like a beautiful lady. Yeah. However, the meaning is not complete, or it is not it does not have a complete thought yet, because in this case we only have subject of the sentence and we don't know what is the lady doing, right? So that's why when you have a beautiful lady only, so this is not a sentence. Why? The meaning is not yet complete because we don't know what is the beautiful lady doing, right? But when we have this one, a beautiful lady is waiting for her brother, for example. So it is now it is now a sentence. Why it is a sentence? Because it has a subject. In this case is lady. This is the subject, right? And verb to be is. So in this case, this is a sentence. And if we come back to this definition, that a sentence is a group of words that is complete in meaning. Now, this is already a sentence. Why? Because it contains or it consists of some words like this, and the meaning is complete. And this is a sentence already. Now, to be more specific, yeah, what is actually the characteristic of a sentence? So a sentence must have one subject. That is very important when we write something. Yeah, we must have a subject in a sentence. But subject only is not enough. We must have what we call by predicate. And the predicate can be verb, yeah, like go, like write, see, watch, sit, and many other verbs. But it can also modifiers, yeah, modifiers like adjective. In this case, like a beautiful lady is sick, for example. So sick is modifier. Or also it can be an object. But the most important thing that we need to remember is when we write a sentence, we must have subject, predicate. And object is only optional, actually. Yeah, the object is only optional. Sometimes a sentence can have an object, but in some other sentences, we don't really need an object. But predicate is a must. And also, don't forget when you write a sentence, you have to start the sentence with a capital letter and ends with a period. You know what is a period? A period is a full stop or tanda titik. So a sentence must be ended with a full stop and started with a capital letter. So remember that. And it expresses a complete thought again. It expresses a complete thought, just like our discussion before. So when you only write a beautiful lady is not yet complete. But when you write a beautiful lady is waiting for her brother, it's already complete. It has subject and it has a predicate. Okay. If you are still wondering what is actually a complete thought, a complete thought is something that can stand alone. Yeah. So it can stand alone. It doesn't need something else. Yeah, to make it stand. Okay. And yeah, as I said, because it can stand alone, it doesn't need another clause to explain it. But if you see a like sentence, but it cannot stand alone, it is not yet a complete thought, so it is not a sentence yet. And certain words can make a complete thought less complete. Certain word, remember, some words can make a complete thought less complete. For example, if we have words like after, in this case is preposition, yeah, although or as if, because, before, and so many others, yeah, as you can see from this PowerPoint. So these words can make a complete thought less complete. For example, yeah, I'm showing you. For example, look at this sentence. Jokowi is announcing new normal policy in Indonesia. Do you think is it a complete sentence, a sentence with a complete thought? Yes, it is a sentence with a complete thought because we have subject here, and then this is a predicate, right? So this is a predicate, subject and predicate. So this is a sentence. Okay, this is a sentence. Why? Because it can stand alone. However, when you put the word preposition like after to this sentence, after Jokowi announcing new normal policy in Indonesia, it becomes less complete, right? Just like in bahasa Indonesia when you are saying setelah Jokowi mengumumkan kebijakan new normal di Indonesia and you stop there, you can feel that there is something missing there, right? So when there is something missing, yeah, this is not yet a sentence. Why? Because this cannot stand alone. This part cannot stand alone. Yeah, we have to make it complete by adding some other clauses. Yeah, for example, after Jokowi is announcing new normal policy in Indonesia, people come back to work by wearing a mask, for example. So now this sentence is complete, but it completes by adding some other clauses. So this is now a complete sentence. Okay, so I hope you understand. Yeah, you can ask me later at the end of my presentation. Let me continue my presentation first. Now I come back to my presentation. So some words again can make a complete sentence become less complete, as I have shown you the example. Now I continue. Now you need to make sure that you know the difference, yeah, between independent clause and dependent clause. Yeah, for example, I come back to my example here. When we have this sentence, okay, look at this sentence. I put it here. I put it here. When we break down this sentence, so it actually consists of two clauses. The first clause is after Jokowi is announcing new normal, and the second clause is people come back to work by wearing mask. And the first part of the sentence, this is called dependent clause. What is dependent clause? In bahasa Indonesia, it is called as klausa terikat. Why terikat? Because it cannot stand alone. It needs another clause to make it complete, right? Cannot stand alone. And how do you call this one? The second part of the sentence, this is called as independent clause. Independent clause. Or in bahasa Indonesia, it called klausa bebas. Why it bebas? It can stand alone. So this part of the sentence actually, it can stand alone. It doesn't really need another part of the sentence because people understand that people come back to work by wearing a mask. It's a complete, it's a complete thought. It has a complete meaning, but not for the first part. Because if you only write after Jokowi is announcing new normal policy in Indonesia and you stop there, something missing. Okay, and that's called dependent clause. Klausa yang tak bisa berdiri sendiri, klausa terikat. Yeah. Okay, now let's continue. In the context of understanding the main clause and the dependent clause and independent clause, you need to remember that all sentences are not created equal. They are not equal. They are not sejajar. They're not the same. They're not equal. So there are sentences that we call by simple sentence, and normally this is the sentence with one independent clause. But there are sentences that what we call by, before that, there are sentences that we call by simple sentences. As you can see from this example, the student in the library read many interesting books. Do you know the subject of this sentence? The subject is the student, right? And then what is the predicate? The predicate is read. And can it stand alone? Yes, it can stand alone. So because this can stand alone, this is called an independent clause. And because it has one subject, in this case is student, and one predicate, it is read, and this is called simple sentence. Okay, so one kind of sentence in this case is simple sentence, kalimat sederhana. Okay. However, some sentences contain two independent clauses. Yes, some sentences contain two independent clauses. Beberapa kalimat memiliki dua klausa bebas. Okay, and that the two independent clauses are joined by and, or, but, for, and nor, or kata sambung seperti and, or, but, for, and nor. And as you can see in this example, so the student in the library read many interesting books. This is one independent clause. None provided the information needed for the research paper is another independent clause, and it is joined or connected using but, or coordinating conjunction but. And this second example is called as compound sentence. And do you know the meaning of compound sentence in bahasa Indonesia? Compound sentence means kalimat majemuk. So as the name majemuk, that means more than one, right? Majemuk or compound. But if it has only one independent clause, it's called simple sentence. But if it is joined, two independent clauses together using and, or, but, for, or nor, we call it as compound sentence. That is the second type of sentence. And the next one is called as complex sentence. What is complex sentence, everyone? This is a sentence with one or an independent clause and a dependent clause joined by subordinating conjunction. So a sentence kalimat yang memiliki satu klausa bebas dan satu klausa terikat terhubung dengan subordinate conjunction. Example, look at this. Although the student library read many interesting books, none provided the information needed for the research paper. Yeah. Which one is independent clause in this case? The independent one is non provided the information needed for the research paper. And which one is dependent? The first part is dependent. Why? Because it can stand alone. And which one is subordinating conjunction? This in this case is although. Okay. So when you see one independent clause and one dependent clause joined by a subordinating conjunction, this is called as complex sentence. So how many sentences have you heard from me? There are three kinds of sentence. First one is simple sentence like this. Second one is compound sentence. Okay, this is compound sentence. And the next one is complex sentence as this example. Okay. So these are the basic type of sentence actually, everyone. So simple, compound, and complex sentence. However, there is another kind of sentence. It's called compound complex sentence. So compound complex sentence. What is compound complex sentence? This is a sentence with two independent clause, at least one dependent clauses. Sorry, one independent clause. So there are two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. Look at this example. Although the student library read many interesting books, none provided the information needed for the research paper, and she began to despair. Okay, let's break down this example, everyone. Can you mention what are the independent clauses in this sentence? Okay, the first independent clauses is this one. Okay, and then the second, this one. Why this is called independent? Because all the two sentences actually can stand alone. Yeah, because this is subject, this is predicate. This is subject, this is predicate. Okay, so that's why it's called independent clause. And which one is dependent clause? Yeah, in this case, dependent is although the student in the library read many books. Okay, so because of this sentence contain two independent clauses and one dependent clause, this sentence is called as complex sentence. Okay, so do you understand my explanation? You can now say something. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So far, I understand.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
Yes,
If you don't understand, you can ask me before I continue. Because I think this is not a new topic for you, right? This is something maybe you have learned before. So that's why I just quickly explain to you. Why? Because when we write something, we will have to deal with sentences all the time. So you need to understand the basic concept of sentence structure. So simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, compound complex sentence, right? And then you have to know, or you have to understand what is clause. Yeah, there are two kinds of clauses: independent clause and dependent clause. And you also need to be aware of issues of conjunction, subordinating conjunction or coordinating conjunction. Okay. So any questions so far?
Yes, sir.
No? Can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me
Yes, sir.
continue. That's good. Now let me continue. Okay. So the question, why does any of this matter? Why do we need to understand the concept of sentences? And why do we need to know about simple sentence? Why do we need to know about compound, complex sentence? Okay. Later, when you write your thesis or when you write an essay, by understanding this kind of sentences, you are able to spot the errors. because later when you are writing, you are not only expected to be able to write, but you are expected also to evaluate the quality of writing. So you can spot, oh, this is wrong, this is not correct. Okay, and only by understanding the concept of the sentences, you are going to be able to spot the problem of a sentence. Okay, and some sentences are too short. So when we have a sentence but it's not clear which one is subject and which one is predicate, for example, it's called sentence fragments. So these are some problem in writing. Or some sentences are too long, so no comma, for example, is too long, so we are not really clear about which one is the independent clause and which one is the dependent clause. So when you know the concept of simple, compound, and complex sentence, you will be able to spot the problem and you will be able to see, oh, this is too long, you need to make it shorter, for example. And it is very important for you to understand that a long sentence is not necessarily a run-on sentence, or it is not necessarily a wrong sentence. I will show you the example later. Okay. Now let's see some example of sentence fragments or problem is with a sentence which is too short, with no clear subject and with no clear predicate. Okay. So in other words, you may be missing something in the sentence. Look at this example, everyone. What do you think is missing in this sentence? Walking down the path that ran along the river. What is missing there?
Subject, sir.
Subject?
Yes, sir.
How about if walking down become a subject? Yeah, it can be miss or it might be missing the subject. So somebody should be here, right? Like she is walking down the path that run along the river, but it can also be missing predicate. So predicate for this walking down, walking down can be subject. It is called as gerund. What is gerund? When a verb become a noun, added by ing, right? So walking down can be subject in this case, and the path that ran along the river is in the dependent clause. Ini adalah dependent clause, and we need the predicate of walking down somewhere here. So this is called sentence fragment. It's not clear what is subject, what is the predicate. Okay. All right. Or a sentence fragment also, it may be a dependent clause or a clause that actually need an independent clause. For example, in this case, which is the reason why I always confused. Do you think the idea is already complete? It's not yet complete, right? When you translate this, can you translate this sentence for me? Which is the reason why I always confuse?
Adalah alasan kenapa saya selalu bingung.
Ya, ya, adalah alasan kenapa saya selalu bingung. And what is missing here? The missing one is
alasan.
the dependent clause, right?
The reason.
Yeah. There should be something before which. Okay. All right. Next. How about this? Although I always come to class. This is it a sentence or a complete sentence already? Not yet, right? Why? Because there is always, although. Then remember, some word make a sentence become less complete. If we delete although, that is fine. I always come to class is a complete sentence already. But when you put although, it is now missing something. Yeah, in this case is we need a independent clause. Yeah, so something like, although I always come to class, I don't understand the lesson, for example. Okay, something like that. So when you make it complete, like I don't understand the lesson, it is now a sentence. But in this case, it's not yet a sentence because it's not yet complete, yeah, in terms of meaning. So this is called, what do we call this problem? This problem called as sentence fragment. And another problem when somebody is writing a sentence is run-on sentence. What is run-on sentence? The sentence that is too long and it's not clear which one subject, which one is the predicate. Yeah. So it can contain more than one independent clause, but lacks proper punctuation. So you miss the punctuation. What is punctuation? Do you know what is punctuation? Punctuation. Punctuation is tanda. Hello. Punctuation is tanda baca. Like comma, like full stop, or semicolon, or bracket. These are all punctuation. And remember, when you miss the punctuation, sometimes the meaning is not clear. Do you think punctuation is very important?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
it is
sir.
very important. Punctuation is very important. I show you another example, the importance of comma. Look at this sentence. What do you think about this sentence? Let's eat grandma.
Ajak.
Is it already a correct sentence?
No, it's not.
No, sir.
No, it's not.
It can be correct, right? Grammatically, but the
It
meaning,
can't.
is it really what you want to say?
No.
No, it's not.
So what
No.
should be the correct punctuation for this sentence, everyone?
Comma.
With
It.
a comma.
Comma
It
after
needs
it.
comma.
After
Yeah.
it.
So you have to put comma after it.
Yes.
So when you put comma after it, it saves grandma's life. Is that right? So you see now how important a comma is. So do not, what is it? Do not underestimate the function of comma in your sentence. So comma, full stop, semicolon, bracket, dash, hyphen, these are all punctuation. Okay, maybe you have learned about it in writing one, right? So make use of it correctly. Okay, next. Okay, so come back to the problem of too long. Sometimes it contains more than one independent clause, but lacks proper punctuation. Yeah, so come back to the question, I mean the sample example before John read the book. So the correct punctuation actually is full stop in this case, not comma, everyone. So full stop. So the correct one should be John read the book, full stop, he liked it a lot. Okay. How about this one? Is snowing outside? Let's go play. What do we need here? Full stop, right? Full stop. And then L become capital L.
Capital
Capital
L.
Why? Because
And
it
then
start a new sentence. Yeah, let's go play. Okay, this is the correct. So what kind of skill a good writer need to use? Yeah. So first you have to be able to write simple sentences. Yeah. So people can be easy to read your sentence. Yeah. But please do not do it repetitively. I mean, do not write simple sentences all the time. You should combine your sentence using compound sentence and complex sentence. So when we talk about essay, for example, yeah, because in my class later you need to write some kinds of essays, you have to combine all kind of sentences in your essay. So a good essay contains not only simple sentences, but also compound sentence and complex sentence or compound complex sentences. Okay. So add some variety. That is the key, or that is the point for being a good writer. Yeah. Okay, I just skip this one. Now look at this part of slide, everyone. When we talk about simple sentence, remember simple sentence normally contain one independent clause, right? There is one subject and one predicate. So simple or complex is not about the length of the sentence. Apakah kalimat itu simple atau kompleks tidak tergantung dari length. You know length? Length itu panjang pendeknya.
Panjang pendek.
Ya. Nah, coba lihat ini. Look at this example, everyone. Is it a simple sentence or a compound sentence or a complex sentence, do you think? How many clauses this sentence has? Anyone knows? This sentence, as the name has been here anyway. This is a simple sentence. It looks so long, right? But this is called a simple sentence. Why this is a simple sentence? Look, this sentence only have one independent clause. What is the subject? Do you know the subject of this sentence?
Senior leaders.
Leaders, right? Leaders. Senior leader. This is the subject, right? So what is the predicate now?
Established.
Yeah. So the predicate as have re-established, right? Yes, you are correct. Have re-established. And is there any other subject? No, right? So the subjects only leaders. And then this sentence have two predicate, but subjects still only one. Is there any connector or coordinating conjunction?
Yes.
No, right? No. So this is simple sentence, walaupun panjang. Why? Karena this sentence only contain one subject and predicate. Okay, and the predicate is have re-established. Yeah, we have the second predicate, but we only have one subject, and there is no coordinating conjunction. That's why this is a simple sentence. And look at the compound sentence now. This is a compound sentence. Why? Because it has how many clauses? How many clauses, everyone? Two clauses. What is the first clause?
Group of 2 20 men are being trained of the camps.
Okay. Group of 10 to 20 men are being trained on campus. And kemudian, sorry, why but here? Should not be but. Wait. Not but. Just say group. So the first part of the sentence is group of 10 to men are being trained on campus. Okay, this is called as independent clause. And the second clause is the kaidah infrastruktur in the region is gradually becoming more mature. This is another independent clause. And what is the coordinating conjunction? And, right? So that's why this is called compound sentence. And look at in terms of the length of the sentence. This simple is longer. This is shorter, right? But we are not talking about the length, but we look at the part of the sentence, how many clauses the sentence has. And yes, as we said, so group is the subject and being trained is the predicate for independent clause. And then the second one is infrastructure and is gradually becoming. Okay. And look at this complex sentence. With complex sentence. How many clauses? How many clauses? 2 clauses. What kind of clause? One independent and one
Dependent.
dependent. Which one is independent? Mr. Bin Laden and appears to have a little direct involvement, right? And the dependent one, who and has. Yes, you are correct. That is the independent clause, and this one is dependent clause. And they are connected using what we call by subordinating conjunction. In this case is who. What is the meaning of who here? Do you know the meaning of who?
Yang.
Yang. Okay. And can you translate this sentence, Rizky Renda Soleha Putri?
Yes, sir. Mr. Bin Laden yang yang telah
Telah what?
less operational.
Oke, no problem. Yang lain ada yang bisa bantu? Mr. Bin Laden yang telah lama. Long is lama, right? Not panjang, lama. Yang telah lama, ya, memerankan. Less itu kurang ya. Jadi telah lama tidak begitu memainkan peran operasional. Ya, diterjemahkan gitu, telah lama tidak atau kurang memainkan peran operasional, muncul, ya, appears to have little direct involvement, ya, bukan muncul di sini, ada sepertinya ya, sepertinya memiliki keterlibatan langsung yang tak signifikan ya atau sedikit. Okay, anyway, so again, this is independent clause. Independennya dari sini, Mr. Bin Laden sebagai subjek, appear sebagai predicate, sementara who has itu adalah dependent, ya kan? Karena dia tidak bisa berdiri sendiri. Kalau Mr. Bin Laden appears to have little direct involvement, it can stand alone, ya kan? Tapi kalau ini nggak bisa. Ketika dia gabung menjadi complex sentence. Jadi this is much shorter than before, ya. Apalagi dibanding dengan yang simple. Nah, kalau seperti itu sekali lagi kesimpulannya, compound, complex atau simple is not about length, but it's about the what? The structure of the sentence. Okay? Okay. Do you have any questions? So do you understand my explanation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. If everyone understand, that's good. So thank you for listening to me. I will upload this presentation into Google Classroom, so you can later come back to see my PowerPoint in case you miss something. Okay? So that's all.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for your participation. Stay healthy, be happy, stay at home. See you again next week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.